Hello and welcome to another episode of 9 to 5 Nerds with Robert Swathwood and Katrina Swathwood.
Hello.
And we are back again, and it wasn't 5 months. So
Lucky you.
Yeah, you're very lucky. I want to say thank you to those that reached out and said that they were glad to have us back. It was more than one person, which is awesome. I do joke off and on about whether people are listening or not, but we do have a fair amount of listeners, and there were people asking where we were and
what happened. Yeah. Where'd you go?
And those people are happy we're back. So we are back. This is the second episode to come out in, I don't know, less than a week.
Yay.
So
good for us.
Yeah. So the last episode we let you all know where we were at and why we were on hiatus and what was going on.
You know, life.
And I know not a lot of you are out there going through the exact same thing.
Like the quandary of you really have nowhere to go and nowhere to be, but you still don't have any time. So how does that really work?
Yeah. That's a big deal.
It's been really, really messing me up almost this past year.
My thing is beforehand, I always was like, we don't do enough. We're not out. We don't get, I'd feel guilty if we stayed in a weekend. And now I'm like, we did so much.
Yeah.
We were
every weekend.
We were constantly going.
Like, I don't even know how I fit in grocery shopping or laundry or any of that kind of stuff. And I can barely just keep my head above water now. And I have nowhere to be. Like, I have nowhere to go. So it's really been a mind fuck for me.
That's a good way to put it. Mind fuck. Oh, sorry. I got the hiccups.
Uh-oh.
Ooh.
Stop swallowing air.
Okay. I'll get right on that
now.
But we're back again. And like I said, thank you if you reached out and said you were glad we were back. I did want to have this second episode back be kind of a wrap up of last year. I know most podcasts do that. And I know
ours just a bit,
It's not that late.
No, it's not. It's still January. Never mind.
It's still January, yeah.
Ugh.
The 21st.
Still January.
Our youngest turned 8 today.
Oh.
It was
a long day.
I don't know if any of you out there have kids. I mean, let me go back on that. I don't know who out there is listening that also has kids. But man, is it hard to try to be there for your kids and make sure that they still have a fun birthday when you can't do anything. I mean,
that we would have been able to do much anyways because it's a Thursday.
No, I understand, but we would have done something this weekend. We would have thrown him a birthday party.
Right.
But
that's not happening.
He's not getting a birthday party this year. We had some family friends and family pull into our driveway and say happy birthday from a distance. We have some very good friends and very special family that were willing to go above and beyond and make sure that he had a good, happy birthday, regardless of what we were able or not able to do. But I wanted to do our little wrap up and not like, oh, we watched this many movies, this many shows, this many comics, this is the video games I played. But I do want to just kind of, and I wouldn't even say the best, the ones that come to mind, the things that are like, hey, I remembered this from last year. This was special from last year.
I'm looking to see if I have any notes because I want to say I started notes last year and then I gave up just like with life when March hit.
Yeah, I don't blame you. And that'll be our little reoccurring theme until we get back into this regularly of the world ending. All right, not the world ending, the world being on fire. I've said world ending a few times, but it just feels like the world is on fire. But we're going to come out of this. But
I read 2 books last year.
Do we have to turn the washing machine off? Like,
do you want me to?
Nah, whatever.
It's fine.
If you hear it, it's a washing machine in the background. We turned everything else off, but yeah, we have lives. This is set up in
I do have to wear clothes.
Okay.
What? Do you understand how much fucking laundry I have to do every week? I don't think you get it. It's absurd. Absurd. And it's every. You know what? That was funny because I was on my Instagram feed and Jenna was talking about this, about how she's like, where does it come from? Like, I'm always doing laundry and then it just appears. And she's like, I wake up and I typically wear the same clothes, but I still have tons of laundry. And I feel that like in my core, like the kids' laundry basket is full after 2 days. And I don't understand how that happens. And then our laundry basket is full. Like
Mine's always full because I never put it away.
Well, that's true. Like there's 2 laundry baskets right now that you have that are full of clean laundry that are, I don't know when those will get put away.
I can't promise
but
you anything.
But our dirty laundry basket gets full after 3 days. And I'm like, what the fuck did I wear? I was like, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not wearing real clothes. I'm wearing stretchy clothes because apparently that's just what I wear now.
You're not alone.
It's just, I can't fathom like where all this clothing is coming from.
I don't think I would change out of gym shorts if I didn't have to go to work. Like you work at home. So you have those options. I don't have those options.
Well, like today was the first day I actually had to leave the house during the day because Oliver's class got out of quarantine. And they were actually able to go to school today for their half a day. And I'm like, I have to actually put on socks.
I got to put this out there for people that are listening. It's like a quarter of a day.
It's not even that.
Or maybe it's a third of a day.
It's not even 3 hours.
Yeah, so they do small groups at school. We're not sending our kids into the belly of the beast.
No, they're half classes. They're all distanced from each other. They have plexiglass around all their desks. It's like
which
a freaking space.
It's incredibly sad, but it has done good things mentally for the kids.
Right. They get interaction. They get socialization. They actually get to physically see their teacher every day.
But I wouldn't get out of gym shorts. And backtrack it a little bit. Those 2 laundry baskets could fit into 1 basket of my clean clothes. Like it's not 2 overflowing baskets. They
not
could
yet.
fit into 1.
I have laundry to do tomorrow.
I know. I need to put it away tomorrow.
Yeah.
But I wanted to start off on video games that stuck out for last year because I think you have one actually.
What, Animal Crossing?
Yeah.
That I haven't played since Christmas.
You've played it since Christmas.
I stopped playing the day before New Year's, and I haven't picked it up since.
But how many days do you think you played that last year? Well over 100 days.
Well, I got it for my birthday.
Well over 100 days.
Yes, I would agree with that.
So,
I do put in some significant time, and when I'm actually being lazy and don't want to do anything else, like I'm trying to be really productive right now.
I know.
And like
you're doing a great job.
Getting our life together kind of productive, and I can't do that at night if I'm playing video games.
Oh, so you don't like video games?
No, that's not true. I haven't been able to carve that time out yet. I'm getting there. It's one of my goals, but I haven't reached that point yet.
You understand you need to take time out for yourself still.
I do understand that, but
this is coming from somebody that doesn't take any time for themselves.
Like the little time I'm taking for myself right now is when I go in the garage and do the bike for an hour, or I go and do like my little kettlebell exercises for like 30 minutes. Like that's the time I'm carving for myself right now because that's kind of a priority.
Okay. No, I hear you. It's where I'm self-admittedly not as productive as you, but I still don't carve out any time for myself to do anything.
And is that because you don't think you have the time or you're not willing to make the time?
Both.
Okay.
It really is both of those things.
Okay. Well, that's a mindset thing. Like I've had to get into the mindset of I need to do this and I need to figure out which day is best to do it. And is it better for me to do it in the morning or is it better for me to do it at night? And like with dishes, the fucking sink is always full of dishes. Doesn't matter what time of day it is. It could be cups. It could be plates. It could be all kinds of shit. Like it is always fucking full. So I will empty it out in the morning. And by the time I go to do dinner, or if I'm doing dinner that day, which is another thing, I don't do dinner every day anymore. It is constantly full. So I'm trying to stagger the dishes. I get them done in the morning before I go to work, or I load the dishwasher. Like it's.
Why don't you do the ones in the morning and I do the ones in the afternoon?
I don't know. Sure.
Okay.
We can do that.
Well,
it's one of those organizational things that you just have to like set out and map out. Like I do this all day at work. I have everything organized to what do I do first? What do I do second? What do I do third? I just am trying to apply that to my out of work life.
It's working.
I hope so because I don't know what I'm going to do if it doesn't.
Well, I mean, we can only do what we can do.
Right. And some days I have to rest and take a break, but you know, I feel like I'm constantly drowning if I'm not chipping away at something each day.
I understand that. And I've been trying to do something in the yard or something around the house or something in the garage every single day. It doesn't happen. I'd say I'm good at 4 days a week right now.
And that's great.
No, and I'm trying as well. It's just it's hard some days, especially when it's like yesterday was busy. I worked all day. I had stuff to do all afternoon. I didn't get stopped till 8:45 at night. By that time, I'm just tired.
Right.
Which is why we're trying to fit this in. But no, I think Animal Crossing was a blessing this year for not just for you, but for a lot of people. It's a not I wouldn't say a time waster. It's a time kill, and it helps you relax. I feel like it's not a typical video game. It's almost like
No.
it's like Second Life video game. And I feel like it was a blessing to a lot of people this year because it was something you could do to just kind of chill out, calm down. And everybody's so chipper, and you can if different people play the game different ways. Some people, what is it, terraforming? Is that what it's called?
What the fuck is that? What? Is that
Some-
where they like go crazy on their island and
Yeah.
like how they configure it?
Yes.
Oh, I don't have
Isn't
time
that what
for
it's
that.
called?
I have no idea what it's called.
I may be misinformed and using the word incorrectly, which wouldn't be the first time. But no, some people's look like cities, some people look like nature, some people have rose gardens, some people just catch bugs, some people fish, some people design. You know, there's something in the game to have just fun. Like when I played it regularly, I was fishing a lot. That was my favorite thing.
Terraforming is the correct term.
But it's a really fun, casual game. And
I agree.
And I don't go by that. Oh, if you only play Animal Crossing, you're not a gamer. If you want to play games and you play games and you find enjoyment in games, then you are a gamer. There's no gatekeeping on this podcast. Fuck those people. But there are a lot of people that are like, oh, you play Animal Crossing? That's not real gaming. Yes, it is. Sorry. Sorry, neckbeard. It's real gaming.
Get out of your basement. No,
Gatekeepers anywhere are just terrible.
yeah, they're just trying to suck the life out of anything that's fun for people. No, I enjoy it. It's fun. I get to kind of step outside of what I'm doing. The only thing I didn't like was that my kids would try to hijack my freaking island. It's my island.
I tried to get you your own Switch for Christmas, and you were mad about it.
No, like I'm not gonna go buy a $200 piece of equipment.
You wouldn't. I would have.
No, we would have. That was, you know, it's not worth it, especially when I don't play for months at a time. Like I'll play every day for maybe a month, 2 months straight, and then I won't play again. I'll take a break for like a month and
I
a
haven't
half.
played Cyberpunk since before Christmas.
I know. I thought that was kind of strange, but we have been kind of weirdly
We've been actually trying to do other stuff.
right.
But no, my game of the year would have been. I mean, I beat Final Fantasy VII, God of War, Last of Us, and I don't know if there's something else in there. There might be. I can't remember. And then I started playing Cyberpunk, but I found that having a game that I could go put 30, 45 minutes in here and there helped me at the beginning of the pandemic to kind of not check out because I would still
Disconnect.
yeah, it was a way for me to just, I say calm down, even though fucking Last of Us 2 was nuts. That was a rough game. But yeah, it was a way for me to just relax and have something that was mine.
I think it's harder when you're playing a game that you can't play when the kids are awake.
I shouldn't have been playing Last of Us when their kids are around.
Oh, no.
And then I the more I played, the less I played in front of them. But or God of War, Final Fantasy VII was fine.
Yeah.
But it was just, I really enjoy those games that are more like storytelling and less like video games like Last of Us. God of War was really good. I had one really big problem with it, but we already discussed it on here, I believe. But those games were all really good games, but Last of Us 2 is just a game that stood out last year. I mean, if you haven't played those games, you're doing yourself a disservice. They are some of the best storytelling there is out there, period. I know this one had a lot of people bad mouthing it. I mean, it got review bombed and stuff like that. But
I think that's just the norm now. with what people do.
Yeah, if somebody can't find something, I don't know. I hate to be cliche and say, if you don't have something nice to say, but no, if something's legitimately bad, it's fine.
Like if graphics are off or if they're sticking and things like legitimate
no, but there's
coding
there's
issues.
bad writing as well.
There is. Like that's with movies too.
I know. There's lots and lots of bad stuff, but just because not liking a game because the woman has muscles or there's a gay relationship or the character you love died, get over yourself.
Don't people die all the time?
It's driving the story forward.
It's fictional.
Yeah,
it's a fictional story.
I have kind of a highlight for a few things from last year.
What, the last movie we saw in theaters?
No, I'm not gonna. I could put that on here, but for me, I just wanted to. Do you want to talk about comics next time since you're catching up?
Sure.
Okay, we'll talk about comics next time. But I feel like this year was a really good year for television, whether it's TV shows in the traditional sense or in the current sense
like
of
series?
Streaming. Yeah, series. Three that stuck out to me in my mind, and these are all shows on the extreme hype train. There's no hey, you might have missed this show.
This is in your face stuff.
The Boys,
Okay.
Queen's
Yes.
Gambit, and Schitt's Creek. Schitt's Creek ended last year.
Okay.
I was thinking about all three of those shows a lot today and yesterday because I kind of wanted to touch base on what stood out. You never would have thought that a TV show about chess would have been so
Exciting
and enthralling and not wanting to stop watching it. Queen's Gambit was great.
It was great.
I can't get enough of The Boys.
Well, it's so slapstick, loose.
It is, but it's also relevant to what
Yes.
was happening
Yes.
up until yesterday.
You mean
I
the
mean,
Nazi regime?
Yes, it's still happening, but it's not acceptable.
How we can't seem to get rid of that part of history ever.
But even with all that said, and we watched Letterkenny all last year as
We
well. And with all that, the show, I know everybody's on it and stuff, but Schitt's Creek to me really came out of left field because I had seen it 100 times on Netflix. Scrolling through
with
stuff.
the trailer of
Yeah.
the water dripping on them.
Yeah,
in bed.
and it looked stupid.
Okay.
I was not interested at all. And a friend said watch it, and as much as I don't take that friend's advice on television and movie stuff typically, I took it and I watched it and I still thought it was stupid.
What, the first season?
I went from watching Letterkenny, which is very fast paced and jokes and jokes and jokes and jokes.
Well, it hits you in the face and it hits you hard and fast.
Yeah, and but I like that dry, I like that dry humor.
Okay.
And I went from that to something that was much slower and much more of a traditional TV show.
Okay.
And
You're like, what the fuck is this?
yeah, and I'm like, I just went from this 100 miles an hour to this, and I'm like, I'm not liking this, but I'm gonna give it a try just because I said I would. And I had a hard time watching the first season and the second season, and I'm like,
Do you think it has to do with the fact is that you're not supposed to like them in the beginning?
that I think is a huge thing. The transformation from the characters from the beginning to end is the
Exceptional.
It's great.
Story arc,
But
writing.
should you really hate a show to begin with? Because that's how you don't get your show picked up.
I think it's talking about a niche in society that we really don't have an eye into unless you're a part of it. So we're talking about an extremely wealthy family that's used to having every care and whim taken care of. They don't have to worry about anything. Like, that's not that everyday experience. So being from a place where we take care of our own shit, we do our own things, we pay our own stuff, we know what's going on in our lives, it's really hard to connect to characters that aren't like you.
Yeah, no, for sure. So you dislike these characters when you first meet them.
Right.
Because
They're obnoxious. They're conceited. They're greedy.
The story arcs on these characters, minus Moira, and Moira has her own
Humbling.
moments and humbling in the show, and she definitely has her moments. But I feel like Johnny had done the hard work before
building an empire.
building something. So I mean, in the seeing him work from scratch, from the bottom up, it was interesting. But he had, in the back of your mind, he had done it before. But watching the transformation of David and Alexis from spoiled brats to hardworking people,
Right.
and
Not taking things for granted,
and caring people, and finding love in other places instead of just loving themselves.
right? Having friends.
Yes, the transformations in that show were exceptional, like you said, and the relationships between certain people, like, you see it. We've watched it more than once now. You see it with David and Stevie first,
Right.
and then you see it with David and Patrick. Alexis doesn't really have a relationship until the second time with Ted.
What about Twyla?
I was going to just say that, but her relationship with Twyla, the more you watch it too, is really good, because Twyla understands her and understands that even though she might be coming off as condescending, she's not meaning to, because she's never experienced these things before.
I don't think Alexis ever had a sounding board that was honest to her.
Yeah, and
Which, when you're rich and famous and you're running around with all these other rich kids.
Yes, people.
Right. Yeah, that's great. That looks great on you. Or, yeah, let's go do that. Like, Twyla would be like, wait, what? What happened?
Yeah. In those transformations between those characters, it was great. And it made that show what it was. I liked the show before Patrick got there, but once Patrick got there, the
You're all
show
in?
became incredible. I feel like they're the best couple on TV
Okay.
ever. I think that they're above Jim and Pam. I think that they might be on similar ground as Ben and Leslie, because Ben and Leslie got each other in every sense, and when they had problems, they worked through them.
I think it's about switching roles. So when someone is down and someone has to be up and carry the weight,
Oh, for
they
sure.
can. But then when the other person switches, the other one picks up that weight and carries the other one through.
Like if somebody's modem breaks down, somebody hops in and tries to help.
Tuesday was the worst day ever. I don't even want to talk about it. I lost a whole day of work and I'm still working through it. So,
But yeah, you're 100% correct.
and that's just realistic, because that's what you have to do in a real relationship, is that someone can't carry 100% of the time.
No.
And that's just not possible. And if somebody is, eventually that's heading in a bad direction.
Yeah.
So I totally understand what you're saying there. I think when it comes to Jim and Pam, their dynamics didn't really change very much. And then when it started to, it caused problems.
Okay.
And that's where I know people had issues with them basically creating problems in their relationship. And I was like, I don't think that's true. I think that they had such a stereotypical relationship of one person carrying the weight for so long.
Well, who do you think carried the weight forever?
I don't know. I think carrying the weight is maybe the wrong term to use for them. I think Jim asserted more consistently without consulting Pam.
Yes.
Whenever,
but she was complicit in that.
Right. She never stood up and said, I don't like this.
But then when you're saying when he moved to Philly, she never stepped up and said, I don't want that. Well, she did say no to begin with.
Eventually she said, what she was thinking. And that's where
it's all lack of communication.
Right. So she's trying to placate him, trying to make him feel that she's supporting him. But, in her heart of hearts, she really doesn't want her life to change. And you can't have both and be happy. So you can't say, oh, I'm going to let them do what they want to do and be happy, and then I'm just going to suffer over here.
Yeah, you can't do that.
It's just not going to work. So I didn't understand why people felt that was unrealistic, because that happens all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, if you can't talk about things, you're gonna go down that road at some point. You just are, and we've done that,
right?
And we talk about everything, all the time, and it's still happened to us, and we still had to deal with that. So I'm not gonna dive into it on here. Maybe eventually, but and it happens. You just have to figure out how to get through it and how to restart that communication. But back to Patrick and David. David has the best facial expressions of anybody on TV. And I'm going to get to this as well.
Okay.
His eyes, he says more with his eyes. Alexis says more with her lips. And
Okay.
I pointed this out to you while we were watching it.
Her mouth moves
That
a lot.
she can express everything just with the way her mouth moves, and David can express everything with the way his eyes move. It was an interesting thing in that I found myself paying attention to that a lot the second time through. But just the relationship between David and Patrick, I absolutely loved. I love
Their
that.
banter.
Oh, my second favorite couple on television is Marceline and
PB?
no, but what's her name? Bonnie, Princess
Bonnie.
Bubblegum, and especially with the new episodes of Adventure Time that
filled
came
in the
out,
gaps of
that
what
filled
happened.
in the gap with her.
Yeah.
Are those two? Oh my God, that was so good. That episode was so good, which is great because the BMO one was just okay. But what was it called? Onyx? Parker would know.
Obsidian?
Obsidian. Yeah, it's called Obsidian. But that was so good. And so my top 3 couples, I posted it on Twitter one time, is David and Patrick, PB and Marceline, and then Leslie and Ben. But
That's a good couple too.
Schitt's Creek, as much as I really like Queen's Gambit and I enjoy The Boys so much, it's one of my favorite shows of all time already.
Really?
But Schitt's Creek really stood out last year. What about you? Feel the same?
I feel the same. I'm trying to think if there anything else I watched, and I can't remember.
We watched Flight Attendant, but that was this year. I actually really enjoyed that too once I was able to calm
Deal with it.
down. I've had people that don't have problems with anxiety say the show was making them anxious.
It's kind of like watching a serial killer documentary. Like, you know what's happening and you know what's going to happen, but it still makes you nervous anyways.
Yeah, but I didn't know what was going to happen in this.
Right, but you knew it was about, like, obviously it sets you off from the get-go as what happens.
But it dives into more dealing with trauma and
alcoholism.
Yeah,
yes.
lots of stuff.
Like that was interesting.
And how they handled that in her head. Like, I don't want to spoil stuff for that because it's still relatively
it was shot
new.
really, really well.
Yeah, and as much as I'm not the biggest Kaylee Cuoco,
I don't know.
she was really good in that role.
She was.
All the actors and actresses, or I guess you just call them actors. All the actors were really good. Artists, yeah. Well, I know. I mean, it's still in like the Oscars, they still do actors and actresses. But whenever you see something in writing, it typically just says actor, referring to whether they are male or female. Which is
because they act.
Yes, but I really enjoyed that as well. Rosie Perez is still doing it, man. She's been around a long time.
She's still putting it down.
Yeah.
Like I was really surprised.
Yeah. And I really like the guy that's in it that was in Haunting of Hill House and Game of Thrones. He's pretty good too. He was really good in that role.
Oh, he was good in that role.
But no, there's just some stuff that stuck out. I was gonna do movies, but then I realized the only movies we watched last year that were from last year were Sonic, Wonder Woman, and
Mulan.
the Harley Quinn movie. Oh yeah, we did see Mulan. I like Mulan. But we dove into that before, so I don't feel like we need to dive into those things again.
Right.
And I was just giving like a highlight. Hopefully we'll get some more new movies this year. I mean, hopefully at some point things will start coming out.
Because Warner Brothers has committed to releasing all their new releases on HBO Max.
Godzilla and Kong comes out in March. I really want to see that. I'm looking forward to a handful of movies.
What was the movie with Denzel Washington and Jared Leto
and Rami Malek?
Mm-hmm.
It comes out on the 29th. I can't remember what it's called right now.
Okay.
But yes,
I
want to
watch
see
that.
Yeah, that looks really good. But I think we're going to get some more movies coming out. I don't know when
James Bond got delayed again.
Yeah, I don't know when Late Night came out, but we watched that last week, and I really enjoyed that.
I think that was last year.
Was it? So that would be my movie of the year, I guess. That or Sonic. I actually really enjoyed Sonic. I didn't have high expectations going into it.
Last movie we saw in a theater.
Yeah. It came out in February?
We saw the day after Valentine's Day.
Man. But I couldn't get enough of Late Night. Like, I loved that movie.
Well, it really towed the line between a drama and a comedy.
Yeah.
And that's a really hard line to strike. Like, it's either too dramatic.
That's the Apatow line.
And, like, not enough comedy, or it's too comedic and not enough drama.
Yeah.
But, no, they did a really great job.
Because You know what? Fighting in My Family. We watched that.
Yeah.
Was it? And I wanted to watch something lighthearted and comedic.
And it was like a drama.
Yeah, and it was. I mean, it had comedic elements in it here and there, but no, that was a drama.
Yeah.
Through and through, and that was a really good movie as well. I really enjoyed it. But
I thought Brittany Runs a Marathon was going to be more comedic than it was.
That was good too.
That was.
I
good.
liked Late Night better. We watched those movies back to back nights, but I liked Late Night better. But I enjoyed both of those movies. They were really good. I like things that are I just said the Apatow line that straddle the Apatow line. I'm using that personally now.
As a thing.
Yeah, it's a thing.
That's a thing.
But like his movies straddle that line. They have the comedic parts. They have the drama parts. They have the real life parts. I feel like he tries to make it as realistic as possible. But I'm just hoping I get to see a Marvel movie this year, and I get to see James Bond.
Well, it's Black Widow's push out to May.
Yeah, but
at some point, how long are they going to hold on to these movies? I guess that's my question.
Yeah. Oh, Soul was really good.
Soul was really good.
Yeah, I enjoyed that a lot as well.
And I didn't really see the nod to, I forget what artist it was. Like the things that were controlling the spirits.
Mm-hmm.
It was a nod to an artist in his like one of his series of paintings, and I totally didn't catch that.
I didn't either. I'd have to see
I'm
it.
not that big into art. Well, actually, you know what? That's not true. I'm just not into abstract art, I guess.
It depends. I'm more.
Well, it's not hanging in my house, so
I'm more into kind of surreal stuff.
I got a robot in the field on my wall.
I love that painting.
It's a good painting.
It is literally, and I bought it as soon as I saw it. It's like a brush painting of a field with clouds and a tree and all this stuff, and then in the middle of the field, looking at the clouds, is like a bright red old school robot. I love that painting. And then, I mean, if you look at our walls, we have Invincible artwork, original artwork on the walls. We have an Acme Indiana Jones painting on the wall. We have Spider-Man stuff. We have
a Human Tree Robot.
Yeah, Human Tree Robot. That guy's great. You can follow him on Instagram. We have 5.
We have 5 hanging right now.
Yeah, 5 hanging in our house right now. But no, I wanted to just touch base on a little stuff we watched last year, and we have another episode that's going to come out in just like 2 days. But I wanted to wait till we got 2 episodes in to let you know that episode was recorded 5 months ago. So
what, in August?
Yeah.
So long ago.
Yeah, Katrina watched Total Recall for the first time. I don't even remember.
No, The Running Man.
Sorry, you're right, Running Man. I was thinking Total Recall because we were just past it on some streaming service the other day.
We did.
And I mean, it's an Arnold movie. It's all the same.
It's all the same.
Yeah, it's all the same. Running Man, when I was growing up, was my favorite Arnold movie. So we watched that, and we talked about it. I think we talked about it before, and then we watched it, and then we recorded. But we didn't record the night after because it got too late, I think. We recorded the next day.
I couldn't even tell you. I can't tell you what happened 2 days ago, besides the modem not working.
Yeah. So that was... Yeah,
that was 2 days ago.
But no, that episode will come out next, and then we'll have another episode out next week. So it's looking at like 2 a week for these first couple weeks.
Yay.
And I said I wanted to do between 4 and 8 a month.
Yeah.
So you can catch up on comics, and I'll rebrush up on that. And
well, I'm almost there. I left Firepower last because
it's the most books.
I have to read that huge prequel.
It's not huge.
It looks intimidating.
It's like 4 issues.
Okay. Well, I got caught up on getting it together, and then I read Stillwater.
Okay.
But there's a new issue that came out yesterday.
Yeah, and there was an issue of Firepower that came out last week. I need to go to the comic book store this weekend.
So I need to start Firepower this weekend.
And there should be 2 issues of Resonant in my pull list right now too.
Oh, yay.
Yeah. Yeah, if you haven't read Resonant, get on that. It just
so
came
good.
back. It took a hiatus for a while, but it just came back, so.
Okay.
But no, we're back, and this is another episode. So until next week, it's clobbering time.
What?